Today, the energy in Foxboro feels different. 4 moves, 4 signals, and one of them might shake the AFC. There's a new piece heating up in the backfield, a market name gaining momentum again, a number that changes January projections, and a locker room answer that explains why this turnaround wasn't a fluke. Buckle up. There's immediate impact, there's planning, there's culture, and there's something else almost nobody noticed. You won't believe what we've got today. So sit down, smash that like button, and let's dive straight in. Which of these twists fires you up the most? When a starter goes down, panic is the first reaction. In New England, the second is efficiency. Adjust the plan, protect the rookie quarterback, and keep the train on the tracks without surrendering draft capital. And there's a straightforward, immediate path that fits Mike Vrabel's physical identity on offense. A name with starter mileage, ready to carry the piano on early downs, who hits the line like every yard is December. He's on the street, he's affordable, he fits the committee, and the competitive window won't wait for anyone. All of that while keeping control of the clock and the locker room's physical identity. That name is Zack Moss. Released by the Cincinnati Bengals on July 30, he became a free agent after a 2025 restructure that ironically makes him even more accessible for a short-term deal in Foxboro. This isn't about a splashy brand, it's about function. In 2023 with the Colts, Moss showed volume, zone patience, and punch in short yardage. Exactly the package that lightens Ramondre Stevenson's load and frees rookie Trevion Henderson to operate in space instead of being thrown into the fire. The conversation has reignited in Boston, and local outlets have framed Moss as perhaps the best RB available among no-trade solutions. If he clears the physical, he could suit up as soon as the next game. On paper, the fit is clean. Moss steps in for first and second downs, short yardage, goal to go, and pass pro. He stabilizes early downs, boosts the credibility of play action, and by extension, protects Drake May by reducing third and long. Think 3rd and 1, with Moss hammering inside, boxes tighten, safeties creep, and the passing game gets a breather. In the red zone, he adds a hammer New England couldn't consistently deploy after the injury, all without overexposing Henderson in protection right away. With Gibson out for the year and a fresh practice squad addition, a ready veteran brings instant stability. Timing matters. The trade deadline is November 4 at 4 p.m. ET. Even though he doesn't require a trade, the market heats up in the weeks before the buzzer. The early mover pays less. Money, not a barrier. The Patriots project healthy 2025 cap room and can structure a 1-year veteran minimum prorated deal with snap and yardage triggers, preserving flexibility. There's risk to manage. Before the release, there was caution in Cincinnati about his return from a serious 2024 injury. That's a box for medicals and workload planning. If the training staff signs off, the cost benefit is hard to ignore. 0 pick, clear role, immediate impact, and a blue-collar profile the locker room respects. Fans love the idea of a power back now, while some in the media weigh health and ceiling, a tension that fuels debate and pressure to act. If it works, New England buys time to evaluate the committee. If not, the short deal makes course correction painless. And that wasn't even the most surprising part of the day. There's an official Foxboro move that touches the backfield right now. Amid the chaos of Antonio Gibson's injury, the Patriots moved fast. While the Zack Moss buzz builds, the front office didn't sit still. Jashawn Corbin is officially in the building, at least for now, on the practice squad. And this is where it gets interesting, because while many fans see this type of move as depth paperwork, there's a deeper logic at work. Vrabel is building a mosaic, testing pieces, creating competition, and above all, finding the man who delivers real impact when Plan A collapses. Corbin is only 25, and his path to Foxboro was bumpy, but it reveals a trait Vrabel values: resilience. Out of Florida State, he entered the league with the Giants as an undrafted free agent in 2022. He was cut, brought back, signed to a futures deal, then cut again. He passed through the Panthers and Falcons, and even the UFL with the San Antonio Brahmas. And interestingly, away from the NFL spotlight is where he rediscovered production. 97 carries, 514 yards, 4 touchdowns, plus 138 receiving yards. Enough to catch the eye of a staff prioritizing hungry players with high motors and versatile profiles. In Boston, Corbin's fit isn't immediate, but it's strategic. He's not here to replace Antonio Gibson right away. He's here to create wiggle room in the game plan. While Moss is still speculation, Corbin is a present body in practice, a utility option tested on quick routes, screens, and returns. The staff wants to see whether he can be that complementary back who delivers when the offense needs a breather. If he shows consistency, he can earn real snaps, especially with the new rotation Vrabel and McDaniels are installing, alternating energy, protecting the rookie, and refusing to depend on a single name in the backfield. There's a telling detail: the departure of Royce Newman, the OL released to open the spot for Corbin. It signals the staff believes the line room already has enough depth, and that the priority now is sustaining the ground game. And the message is clear: nobody is safe. If you don't perform, someone else steps in, even if he's coming from the UFL. That mindset, plus the emotional lift from the Buffalo win, changes the locker room tone. Practice ramps up, and reporters who were around the day after the signing noticed. The atmosphere is urgent but controlled. No one can say Corbin is the solution, but he is exactly the type type of bet that separates middling teams from teams under construction. He arrives with a chip on his shoulder, and Vrabel knows how to tap that as well as anyone. It's no coincidence that in the same cycle New England knocks off the division's unbeaten. They bring in a player forged by setbacks and reinvention. It's a message to the room. No one here is finished, everyone is building something. And that connects directly to what happened on Sunday night, because if there were doubts about this team's DNA, the game in Buffalo was the loudest possible answer. If anyone still doubted whether the Patriots could scare people, that doubt died under the Sunday Night Football lights. The stage was hostile. Highmark Stadium, Buffalo undefeated, a 9-point favorite, and a New England team that just wanted to prove it could compete. What we saw was more than a good performance. It was a statement. Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels delivered a razor-sharp tactical plan, and the roster responded with something we hadn't seen in a while: belief. The 23-20 result echoed across the AFC and made the rest of the league stop and take notice. The win had many authors. Drake May, the rookie some still call a project, showed the moment was never too big. Clock control, blitz reads, quick rhythm throws, and the courage to push downfield when the game demanded it. It was his first big primetime outing, and the entire locker room felt it. Stephon Diggs, facing Buffalo again, set the emotional tone. 10 catches, 146 yards, and the vocal leadership that kept the group hot when the tide threatened to turn. Every third down conversion detonated on the sideline, and the defense, coordinated with discipline by Terrell Williams, refused to break. In the end, Andy Borregales drilled a 52-yarder, and the story changed course. What does this game really represent? First, a statistical pivot. With the win, the Patriots moved to 3-2, and per ESPN, now hold a 67.6% chance to make the playoffs. That's more than a number, it's a symbol. Among AFC teams, only a few sit higher. And here's the kicker. New England is 2-0 in the division, beating Miami and Buffalo. The landscape opens up, and what looked like a mere rebuild starts to smell like a resurgence. The next chapters also invite belief. Titans, Saints, and Browns, the next three opponents, are 1-4. The schedule offers a perfect opportunity for Vrabel to turn a spark into a streak. If they take care of business, this team could be 6-2 before Week 9. For a franchise coming off back-to-back 4-win seasons, that would be a planned miracle. But Vrabel doesn't want hype, he wants standard. And the locker room mantra reflects it. One game changes nothing if we don't stack wins. That's why the fan base, once guarded, is starting to believe. Foxboro is feeling that old hum again, the sense that something big is being built. The defense, with young pieces like Christian Gonzalez and Keon White, shows personality. The offense, still uneven, is starting to understand its identity. Less flash, more purpose. And May, snap by snap, is gaining the confidence that transforms promise into leadership. No one is crowning the Patriots yet, but one thing became obvious on that Sunday: they've regained respect. They're the kind of team nobody wants to see on the schedule, because discipline, energy, and a plan that makes sense again, that's dangerous. Underestimate them, and the bill might come due in January. And the most fascinating part is that this shift isn't just about talent, it's about command. Inside the locker room, the name most mentioned after the win wasn't May or Diggs, it was Mike Vrabel.
When the final whistle echoed in Buffalo, the name ringing loudest in the locker room was Vrabes. Mike Vrabel, the man who reshaped the team's soul in just 5 weeks. And it wasn't with canned speeches or catchphrases, it was coherence. He says it, he demands it, and he lives it. The reflection is a roster that plays for him, not out of fear, but admiration. Christian Gonzalez, fresh off a hamstring recovery, summed it up. He's pure energy. You want to be on the field for him. That kind of culture isn't taught in one off season. It's built, and Foxboro is breathing it again. Vrabel inherited a roster in transition and a bruised fan base. In short order, he made the simple feel revolutionary, re-centered discipline, ramped up practice intensity, and brought back something that felt lost: identity. The team found purpose again. It's not the most talented roster, but it refuses to quit, celebrates receiver blocks and form tackles, and understands every snap builds character. That was the essence of the Buffalo game, and it's why the night was so symbolic. And the impact goes beyond the result. Veterans are smiling again. Stephon Diggs, accused by some of being just passing through, became a model of dedication and leadership. Drake May, surrounded by comparisons and scrutiny, now has a head coach who believes in him and protects him with plans that maximize his strengths. McDaniels' offense, tuned by Vrabel, blends simplicity and daring. It shields the rookie but challenges him. And on defense, Gonzalez and Kyle Duggar personify the Patriot way, reimagined, aggressive, communicative, collective. Against Buffalo, Gonzalez was spotless. 6 tackles, a pass breakup, and above all, the read on the decisive moment. That late 3rd and 10, when Josh Allen went to Khalil Shakir, Gonzalez broke it up, and that play mattered as much as the field goal that sealed it. The detail: he was just a week removed from returning and could have been on a pitch count, but he never tapped out. Vrabel saw it. The room saw it. That's the kind of thing that changes a locker room. Vrabel doesn't talk leadership, he shows it, from the sideline to the postgame, where he was the last to leave the field facing the fans and applauding.
What comes next is crucial. The Saints on the road, then the Titans and Browns. 3 tests that will tell us whether Buffalo was a spark or the start of a flame. Gonzalez put it best. We showed what we've got. Now we've got a stack. Vrabel answered with his line of the week. Winning just reminds you what happens when we do it right. The line went viral. ESPN, NFL Network, and even former Patriots weighed in. The consensus is the same. Vrabel gave Foxboro its soul back. And maybe, without realizing it, he reignited something that felt lost. The unease opponents feel when they see Patriots on the schedule. Put it all together, and the picture is clear. A reordered backfield with Corbin already in the building. The surgical, low-cost possibility of Zack Moss to stabilize early downs. A statement win that puts New England back in the playoff conversation. And a locker room answering to Mike Vrabel's standard. It's conviction plus execution. Now it's about turning momentum into a streak against the Saints, Titans, and Browns. I want to hear from you. Is closing with Moss the right move now, or is the committee enough? Drop your take in the comments, hit like, share this with a fellow fan, and subscribe, because the climb is just getting started for real.